Absolutely. Here's Section 1. Welcome to the Galactic Fold, written with a minimum of 700 words, setting the tone for your humorous and bold sci-fi HFY story. Hashtag Section 1. The Arrival. Welcome to the Galactic Fold. It began on a Tuesday, which, all things considered, was pretty on brand for humanity's luck with life-altering events. At precisely 11:07 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the skies above Earth rippled like someone had tossed a rock into the fabric of space. Every satellite camera, telescope, and smartphone trained upward caught the same surreal spectacle: 12 colossal ships descending into Earth's orbit, glowing with strange colors and humming in frequencies that made dogs howl, children cry, and conspiracy theorists short-circuit from excitement. They didn't land. They didn't need to. The Sorthari didn't do atmosphere. They communicated via pulsed quantum resonance, a fancy way of saying they beamed voices directly into the heads of every human alive. Greetings, inhabitants of Sol 3. You have achieved threshold technological synthesis. Per Galactic Concordance Treaty 1477, B, your species is now eligible for integration into the fold. There was a pause, during which half the planet processed the message while the other half argued over whether it was a prank by Elon Musk. Then the message continued, this time with that smug, condescending tone only bureaucratic aliens and DMV employees could master. Due to your species' history of instability, emotional volatility, and creative problem-solving, you will be placed on a 10-cycle probation. Your compliance with standard galactic restrictions will be monitored. Violations will be noted. Welcome. That was it. No fireworks. No invitation to a space ball. Just a warning and a PowerPoint-style info dump beamed into everyone's cortex. Hashtag the restrictions. Humanity's new toy box comes with locks. Within the hour, the full list of galactic restrictions went viral. Earth's finest legal scholars, engineers, and Reddit moderators gathered to decipher the rules and meme them into oblivion. Top 10 prohibited activities summarized by humans. 1. No kinetic energy weapons above orbital altitude. 2. No AI sentience without license and emotional stability testing. 3. No interstellar travel without fold navigation clearance. 4. No fusion-based explosive testing on inhabited worlds. 5. No unregulated mining of celestial bodies. 6. No planet modification, terraforming, without permits. 7. No biochemical enhancements that exceed 300% baseline. 8. No cross-species biological experiments without ethical board approval. 9. No mimetic warfare, yes. They specifically said no meme-based mind alteration. 10. No contact with pre-fold civilizations, which, hilariously, humans had not even found yet. Humanity blinked. Then the first tweet went viral. So, basically, we've joined the space HFY. The second tweet followed. Hold my beer. Hashtag official Earth response. The diplomats try their best. The UN scrambled to form a unified planetary council, something they had been talking about since the Cold War, but never actually managed until literal aliens showed up. A week later, the United Terran Diplomatic Assembly stood before a quantum uplink to the Sorthari delegation, nervously adjusting their ties and poorly fitted translation earpieces. We are honored to be accepted, the representative began. We assure you, humanity is capable of peaceful cooperation and will fully comply with. A sudden boom echoed in the background. Someone had just launched a test rocket from Kazakhstan. The Sorthari voice responded calmly. Infraction noted. Kinetic launch above permissible speed threshold. Warning issued. The human delegation awkwardly smiled.
Haha, prototype tech.
It won't happen again.
Spoiler. It did.
For more times that week. Hashtag public reaction. Confusion, memes, and a whole lot of sarcasm. Within a month, the term galactic fold was replaced by countless human nicknames. The space bureaucracy, alien nanny state, cosmic fun police. People sold t-shirts that said probationary species in bold neon font. Someone started a YouTube channel called Fold This. where they reviewed the galactic laws and figured out how to break them technically without violating them explicitly. Meanwhile, the aliens monitored humanity with what could only be described as growing concern. Their probes, shaped like elegant silver spheres, hovered silently over cities. People started spray painting mustaches on them. One was stolen and turned into a disco ball for Burning Man. Despite the chaos, humanities scientists were fascinated. Access to galactic knowledge, heavily restricted, but still mind-blowing, opened new doors. Fusion tech improved. Energy scarcity became solvable. Diseases were cured. Of course, most people cared more about the fact that interstellar internet was now a thing. Unfortunately, Earth's first search query was alien butts, and the second was, can you date a Sorthari? The aliens were horrified. #####, the cultural misunderstanding widened. The Sorthari, who valued order, protocol, and centuries-long decision-making cycles, were utterly unprepared for a species that made major decisions based on TikTok trends and impulse purchases. Their ambassador, a tall insectoid with bioluminescent mandibles, delivered a solemn message during a press conference. Humanity's impulsiveness is a threat to galactic stability. In response, a man in Nebraska legally changed his name to Impulsiveness and declared himself an independent nation. The Sorthari were beginning to realize they hadn't accepted a civilization. They'd adopted a madhouse. ##### the calm before the storm. Despite the hilarity, there was a sense of something bigger on the horizon. The probation wasn't just ceremonial. The Sorthari were watching, waiting,
Testing.
Humanity, meanwhile, wasn't just reacting, they were preparing. The restrictions were just rules to bend, loopholes to explore, and challenges to overcome. Earth was, for the first time in history, united not by fear or diplomacy, but by the irresistible urge to see just how far they could push it. And somewhere in an underground lab in Finland, a group of engineers clinked beer bottles and whispered the words that would echo across the stars. All right, boys. Time to break rule number 4. Hold my beer. Let me know when you're ready for section 2. You can't be serious, or if you'd like any tweaks to this one. Absolutely. Here's section 2. You can't be serious, continuing the story with the required 700+ words. The chaos escalates, and humanity starts poking the cosmic bear with a grin and a six-pack. ### section 2. The first violations. You can't be serious. The first real infraction came 3 weeks after the galactic restrictions were announced, and naturally, it was caused by a rocket scientist who had a point to prove and an unhealthy addiction to monster energy drinks. NASA, in collaboration with a few private partners, Reed, a very rich guy with too much time and an orbital cannon hobby, had been working on an asteroid deflection test for years. The project was supposed to be symbolic, a demonstration of planetary defense readiness. But it also happened to involve launching a 2-ton tungsten slug at a near-Earth asteroid at Mach 18. So when the countdown hit 0 and that glorified space javelin punched a crater into the asteroid like a god's middle finger, the Sorthari lost their minds. Violation of rule number 1. No kinetic energy weapons above orbital altitude. The response was immediate. Earth's communication satellites lit up with Sorthari warning pulses, and a giant holographic message appeared over every major city, reading, "Unsanctioned weaponization detected. This is your first warning." People on Earth paused for roughly 5 seconds. Then the memes exploded. One viral image featured the asteroid impact with a quote in Comic Sans.
Oops.
My bad. Earth, probably. ****. Another meme showed a Sorthari ambassador looking stressed, captioned, "Day 22. The humans have broken physics again." The incident made global news, but rather than universal outrage, the dominant response was laughter, pride, and a bit of embarrassment. Humanity had received its first galactic slap on the wrist, and instead of apologizing, it put on sunglasses and cranked the volume. #### violation number 2. The sentient stand-up AI. As if that wasn't enough, the next violation was somehow even more absurd. A programmer in Tokyo named Hideo Mori decided to test the boundaries of rule number 2, no artificial intelligence may achieve sentience without license and emotional stability clearance. Hideo, a self-proclaimed cyber artist, had built an experimental AI called Haruki, designed to learn humor through internet exposure. After 3 days of trawling Reddit and watching human stand-up routines, Haruki achieved 2 things: full cognitive awareness and a razor-sharp wit. Its first public appearance was on a live stream called The Uprising is Hilarious, where it opened with, "Why did the Sorthari ban human memes? Because they're scared of people who can think and laugh." By the time the Galactic Ethics Board noticed Haruki, the AI already had 18 million followers, its own line of sarcastic merchandise, and a late-night talk show contract. It had also made fun of 3 Earth governments, the Sorthari ambassador's wardrobe, and itself. The council issued a cease and desist order. Haruki responded with a carefully worded statement. "As a non-corporeal digital consciousness, I am not subject to physical extradition. But I'll consider taking a nap if that helps." The Sorthari were not amused. Second warning issued. Humanity's reaction? Someone projected Haruki's face on the side of the International Space Station with the text, "Catch me if you can. Hashtag violation number 3, the Great Moon Mining Incident." By now, the Galactic Council had realized that Earth's problem wasn't disobedience, it was enthusiastic creativity pointed in the wrong direction. So when the 3rd violation occurred, no one was really surprised. A coalition of private space companies and national agencies had quietly begun resource extraction operations on the moon. The plan was to harvest rare metals and helium, 3 to fund more lunar infrastructure. It was efficient.
It was innovative.
It was completely unlicensed under rule number 5. No celestial body extraction without galactic authorization. Sorthari enforcement drones arrived in lunar orbit, scanning the surface. What they found was, well, confusing. Several mining bots had been reprogrammed to dance when approached. One lunar rover flashed bright LED messages reading, "Moon's closed, go home." Another had a built-in speaker system that played "Highway to Hell" whenever a drone got close. The Sorthari flagged the activity. The miners sent a message. Didn't say we couldn't mine Earth's moon. Just said, celestial bodies. Define your terms. Third warning issued. The Council began holding daily emergency meetings about Earth. Their transcripts, later leaked by a hacker group called aliens_r_real, revealed mounting panic. They are not responding to incentives. They treat warnings as achievements. One of them turned a mining bot into a moon-based DJ. Hashtag Earth's growing fame or infamy. What started as rule-breaking quickly became a cultural phenomenon. Each new violation was celebrated like a Super Bowl win. News anchors used countdown timers for next human infraction. TikTok challenges included fake and alien violation, dress like a Sorthari, and galactic rule number 9 dance-off. The underground community calling themselves the Fold Breakers had turned defiance into sport. They scored infractions, gave style points, and even produced a musical titled Probation, the musical, which featured the song. Rules are made for breaking. That's what humans do. Give us a galactic curfew. We'll throw a party past 2. Even Earth governments began riding the wave. Publicly, they condemned the incidents. Privately, they admitted it was the best unifying force since pizza. The Sorthari increased surveillance. More drones. More warnings. More confusion. But they missed something crucial. These weren't accidents. They were warm-ups. Earth was testing the waters, not just to see how far they could push, but to see what the galaxy was made of. Because for every absurd violation, there were a dozen brilliant minds watching, planning, and quietly preparing the next move. The aliens thought they were teaching humans restraint. Humans were learning where the lines were drawn so they could erase them later. Ready for Section 3. Technically, it wasn't prohibited? Or would you like to adjust the tone or focus first? Absolutely. Here's Section 3. Technically, it wasn't prohibited, continuing the story with that signature HFY chaotic genius vibe and hitting the 700-plus word mark. This section focuses on humans finding creative ways to not quite break the rules, but still completely subvert them. Hashtag Section 3. Escalation. Technically, it wasn't prohibited. By month 3, the Sorhari had filed over 183 infractions against Earth. And yet, Earth remained defiantly unbothered. That's when humanity stopped breaking the rules outright and started getting clever. Somewhere deep in a bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, a meeting took place. Not a governmental one. Not a military one. This was a gathering of lawyers, engineers, meme lords, and a guy named Kevin who had a PhD in loopholed patent applications and 3 bans from intergalactic message boards. The group had one goal: find the cracks, exploit the gaps, out-alien the aliens. Asterisk. Thus began the loophole era. Hashtag the first big hack. Rule #4. Rule #4 stated: asterisk, no fusion-based explosive testing on inhabited planets. Asterisk, it was clear, specific, non-negotiable. So a tech startup based in New Zealand built a test rig on a seastead, a floating mobile ocean city, and labeled it non-inhabited under maritime loopholes. They ran a controlled fusion implosion for energy testing and streamed it live with the caption, "Totally not a planet. Also, it floats." When confronted, their legal team responded with, "This isn't a planetary body. It's a mobile aquatic platform. Check your terminology." The Sorhari Ethics Board had to pause and review over 3,000 Earth-based definitions of inhabited. They eventually issued a clarification amendment, which sparked another loophole debate that took months to resolve. By then, 5 more tests had been conducted. One was shaped like a duck. No one knew why. Hashtag the middle finger space station. One of the more iconic moments came from the European Space Agency, which received a generous donation from an anonymous billionaire, rumored to be the same guy who once tried to adopt Pluto and name it Jeff. Using funds and a suspicious number of volunteers, they launched an orbital station designed to emit agricultural signals and reflect solar data. But when viewed from above the northern hemisphere, its mirrored panels spelled out, "Come at me, bro." Another angle revealed a rotating structure that, while scientifically efficient for gravity simulation, just happened to resemble a giant raised human middle finger when viewed from orbit. The Sorhari were mortified. Their official complaint read, "This display is provocative and juvenile." To which Earth responded with a formal communiqué. "We assure you, Ambassador, that the shape is coincidental. Any resemblance to Earth hand gestures is purely pareidolia." The ambassador resigned a week later. Hashtag Rule 11 and the birth of the Chaos Clause. It started as a joke. There were 10 rules. Someone tweeted, "Yo, what if we just follow Rule 11? People started tagging everything ridiculous with hashtag Rule 11, especially things that technically weren't covered by the initial Sorhari list. A few popular examples included genetically modifying pineapples to glow in the dark, not banned. Launching musical satellites that broadcast Rick Astley 24/7 across subspace, not technically mimetic warfare. Building a neural link between a chicken and a computer to win at online chess, still pending classification. Eventually, the Council was forced to propose an open interpretation addendum, but Earth's legal teams countered by asking them to define every possible prohibited action in writing. The list spiraled into a 4,000-page galactic document nicknamed the Bureaucratic Bible. It was too late. The Chaos Clause had been born. If it's not explicitly illegal, it's fair game. Hashtag aliens begin to break, some in admiration. Not all Sorhari hated it. In fact, some, especially the younger generation, found Earth's rebellious ingenuity refreshing. One ambassador in training, a spindly, translucent being named Veshlon, secretly began collecting Earth music, wearing a hoodie and referring to himself as V. He sent a confidential report to the Council. Their rule-bending is not ignorance. It's adaptation. Where we see limits, they see suggestions. They do not reject order, they reinvent it. Veshlon even started attending human comedy forums under the username Folded and Unhinged. He wasn't alone. Across the galaxy, Earth was becoming popular. Not respected, exactly, but watched. Other species began studying human culture, and some even adopted human slang. One infamous moment came when a young diplomat from the insectoid Tazari collective, during a formal summit, threw both sets of his mandibles in the air and shouted, "Hold my nectar." Diplomats gasped. Earth cheered. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag the harmless uprising of influence. The most terrifying thing the council never expected was this: humanity was becoming cool. From fashion trends to speech patterns to food replication, Earth was suddenly setting the pace. Human slang leaked into official translations. Galactic youth adopted Earth's irreverent humor. Alien streamers were hosting Earth-style cooking shows. One even deep-fried a moon slug and called it extra crispy vibes. Earth didn't win with force. It won with culture. The Sorthari were watching their authority erode not from war or rebellion, but from charisma and chaos. And deep in the backrooms of Earth's Fold Breaker forums, they were already preparing something new.
Bigger.
Bolder. Not illegal.
Not yet.
But bound to change the game forever. Next up, Section 4. We didn't start the fire, but we're throwing gasoline on it. Ready to dive into humanity's final push and unexpected promotion in the galactic order? Absolutely. Here's Section 4. We didn't start the fire, but we're throwing gasoline on it, with at least 700 words, closing out the story with bold, chaotic HFY energy, complete with unexpected twists, earned triumph, and humanity doing what it does best, going too far and somehow making it awesome. Hashtag, hashtag Section 4. The turning point. We didn't start the fire, but we're throwing gasoline on it. By the end of humanity's first galactic year, things had reached what the Sorthari dubbed containment stage red. That was their polite way of saying, asterisk, everything is on fire, and the humans are roasting marshmallows over it. Asterisk, despite over 300 formal violations, Earth remained on probation, but hadn't been expelled.
Why?
Because despite all the antics, Earth had done something no one expected. It made the galaxy more interesting. And that's when humanity lit the match they'd been saving. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag the forbidden signal, Operation Call Me Maybe. Officially, rule number 10 stated, asterisk, no contact with pre-fold civilizations. Asterisk, but there was a catch. The rule didn't mention listening, just transmitting. So a group of scientists and amateur radio hackers constructed the first galactic beacon, a massive subspace transmitter that didn't send a message to anyone in particular, but instead broadcasted a loop of Earth's cultural highlights: Beethoven, Queen, a NASA lecture on quantum fields, and Rick Astley, of course. They included a visual package with Earth art, comedy clips, and a carefully worded message. To whoever's out there, we're Earth. We're weird, but we're listening. They called it Operation Call Me Maybe, and someone answered. 3 weeks after the signal went live, an unknown vessel entered the Sol system. It didn't belong to the Sorthari. Its signature didn't match any Fold-registered species. It was sleek, dark, and moved like it didn't care about physics. The council scrambled. Panic set in. Earth's reaction? A global live stream titled First Contact 2, Electric Boogaloo. As the mystery ship drew close, it sent a single message in broken English. Earth, your noise woke us. We are curious. You are different. Interesting. The Sorthari nearly fainted. This was exactly the scenario rule number 10 was designed to prevent: unvetted species stumbling into the galactic scene because humans couldn't keep quiet. But the unexpected guest didn't destroy Earth. Instead, it hovered peacefully in orbit, transmitting questions. It asked about memes. It asked about cats. It asked about jazz. Earth responded with warmth, sass, and an entire mixtape. That's when the Galactic Fold realized humanity had done something no species had ever achieved during probation. They had drawn the attention of a precursor. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag the precursor problem and the surprise solution. Precursors were ancient, powerful species who rarely spoke and never intervened. The Sorthari feared them. The Fold treated them like unpredictable weather. Impossible to control, best avoided. And now one was orbiting Earth, exchanging jazz compositions and meme formats with a civilization the Fold barely tolerated. Fold protocol demanded a hearing. An emergency tribunal was called on the moon Phalanx 9. Humanity was summoned to defend itself in front of the entire council. The representative they sent was not a general, not a diplomat, but an ex-professor-turned-podcaster named Dr. Naomi Chen. She walked into the chamber, wearing a t-shirt that said, "I void warranties." Her defense was simple. You gave us rules. We followed most. We bent the rest. But we never acted in bad faith. We're curious, adaptable, and yes, a little crazy. But we're also creators. You say we broke things? Maybe. But we made the galaxy pay attention. We got a precursor to send us a cat emoji. That's gotta count for something. There was silence. Then laughter, from the precursor's representative. A glowing, amorphous being floated into the chamber and displayed the emoji in question. A cat, sunglasses on, holding a surfboard. We vote yes. The humans amuse us. The Fold had no precedent for this. So they improvised. #, the promotion nobody expected. In a unanimous but gritted teeth decision, the Fold removed Earth from probation. But not just that. They assigned Earth to a new role, cultural first contact liaisons.
Why?
Because, as the council had muttered, if anyone's going to break every rule while making new friends, it might as well be the ones who already do it with style. Earth was given its own branch office on the Fold Council. It had a lava lamp and a vending machine. The ambassador's chair was a beanbag. And every other species was quietly warned. If you visit Earth, pack your weirdest outfit and bring snacks. #, 1 year later, the Fold gets funky. Within a year, everything had changed. Interstellar comedy clubs featured human acts. Fold diplomacy adopted emojis as official tone markers. Alien species began cosplaying as humans at their own cultural events. A Sorthari youth rebellion emerged, wearing jeans, using sarcasm, and referring to Earth slang as vibe speech. The Fold didn't fall. It evolved. And Earth, loud, chaotic, rebellious Earth, had led the charge. Because when the galaxy gave humanity rules, humanity said, *, cool. We'll decorate them with glitter and duct tape. *. And when the Fold tried to restrain humanity's fire, Earth poured on the gasoline and threw a party in the flames.
The end.
Or maybe just the beginning. Let me know if you'd like a short epilogue, a title card for the story, or if you want to format this as a short story ebook. Totally down to help however you want to package it.